Thank you for tuning in. Hope everyone is safe and well. Woodsy here, and today we're going to be looking at the Maison Château Rouge Jordan 2. So, I previously looked at this brand when I got the Jordan 1 mid. I did do a video back in the day, but I don't think that's live at the moment. And when it comes to Jordans, I don't actually tend to keep a lot of Jordans, but I kept this pair because I think they're absolutely fantastic. I really like the brand, the values behind it. I like the styling behind it, and I just thought all round it was really cool. Maison Château Rouge, I've watched interviews with the co-founder, and they formed in 2015, if I remember rightly now. And it is sort of like got its roots from like African style, and they were also, even though it's like a premium lifestyle brand, he works towards sort of like trying to get more job opportunities and sort of like money back into Africa, which is always amazing to hear. And I just thought that the materials used and the sort of story behind that, and the way they put themselves together is absolutely fantastic. And all the themes that you got running, well, a lot of the themes you got running through the Jordan 1 mid have been used in the Jordan 2s and also the mid series SP, which I will be reviewing as well. Like for example, all this striping, when you look at their actual shop, they have all these like stripe designs, and all of their sort of themes sort of follow throughout the stores and their branding, and I just think it's all tied together really well. But of course, let's start off with a box. So a really well presented box on this. You've got Air Jordan with a wings logo, and it's actually cut with the wings down the side, which is again a really nice touch. You've got that yellow striped backing, and as I said, you see this in the shop, and it's sort of like their stripes is sort of a theme that goes throughout their brand. United Youth International, Chicago, Dakar, Paris. I haven't actually done the research on this. I don't know whether this is like a sort of a charity or an organisation that they've formed since the brand has been put together. I'm not too sure, so I apologise for not knowing that. And also, they have this sort of like pattern that seems very consistent with, they had these sort of squiggles on the Jordan 1 mid, and then they have it now very dominantly through the Jordan 2 and also the series mid. So it's all over the bottom of this box, and it's completely covered as well on the Jordan the Jordan mid series SP. But yeah, so it's brown at the bottom with those squiggle lines, so I'm going to call these the MCR squiggles. Maison Château Rouge on the side, and on the label it reads Air Jordan 2 Retro SP. This is Sail Citron Pulse Orange. I got this in a UK 9, which is a US 10. So it's really well presented on the outside, and then when you open it, it's really cool as well inside. So Maison Château Rouge in this sort of like bubble font that almost looks like that sort of Western sort of font. You've got stars, you've got the Jumpman, you've got like a championship sort of ring, and then the papering, you've got United Youth International on these banners, and then it's got this sort of like almost like cartoony sort of like prints of like MJ and stuff like that, and it just all around really well presented. And even on the inside of the box under the paper, you've got designs as well. So really great job on the box, but of course you do not wear the box. So to the shoe. Right, just quickly dropping back in to say I've done all the lace swaps on these, so please stay to the end. It's quite tedious, but it's worth seeing with all the different laces. It's really nice that they've got all the laces with these. These are easily the most comfortable pair of Jordans I've ever worn. So padded, really comfortable. They're probably going to get very warm, so probably not best in the summer months, but yeah, even that sole is actually really comfortable, and these look absolutely pucker on feet, so I would definitely recommend. Anyway, let's go back to him waffling on. Now, I'm not afraid to say this is not the first Jordan 2 I've ever picked up. I've always been intrigued how Jordan 2s were never really like that popular at all, or maybe they was and I just missed that because I wasn't in that scene then. But they are becoming very popular at the moment. A lot of collaborations are doing the Jordan 2s, and I actually really like the silhouette. I like the highs, I like the lows. but I do find at the moment the main reason I'm not overly keen on Jordans is because there's other silhouettes that I want to get, and also there's such a high retail. So there was a high retail anyway, but they've recently raised their prices. These were £200, and it's quite hard to sort of justify that spend unless you really, really love the shoe. And although I do really like this pair and I really like the collaboration, I'm still unsure on whether I'm actually going to keep this pair. But looking at the details, so the bottom of this sole, this rubber, this like plasticky rubber is really, really firm. Like not really a lot of flex on it at all. It's almost like an off-white, almost like a saily sort of white on the majority of the bottom of the sole, but then you also have yellow and then this orangey red through the back of the heel. You also have Nike spelt out on this sort of like cushioned pad that really reminds me of the Nike SB Shield at the bottom, so it's got that spongy feel to it. And then up to the midsole, again I would say that it's a white, but it's just a little bit off-white, it's not like a bright white. And then you have this like cream speckling, which reminds me of like an ACG midsole. And again, this is firm, but it's got a nice sort of, you can squeeze it in a little bit, so it should be cushioned. The whole build of this shoe seems very like structured and like it's going to be very supporting, and there's a lot of materials used on it, so I'm going to try and break it down as quickly as possible. Starting off with the orange, and I would class this, I suppose, as like a nubuck. You've got a little piece of that on the front of the toe box, and then on the back heel. And the back heel, if you look at that, it's actually quite pleasing to the eye. You've got that bit of orange, bit just above that sort of like light grey nubuck, and then you've got this ridged effect, which I'm guessing is going to help flexibility. And then you have this like jagged material, so they've got this throughout this pair and the SP mids. It's almost like bunting underneath, and I think it adds quite a nice character to it. And then you've got Nike in bold with this, again with their striped backing, and then it is silhouetted by this orange nubuck again, and I think that all looks really well. It all goes really well, and it almost, the way it looks, it almost has like that sort of carnival sort of look to it, very bright. And then you've got this sort of like bunting and stuff like that. That's what it personally reminds me of anyway. As I said, that orange is above this light grey sort of nubuck that has a nice soft feel to it, but all of that back heel is very structured. Following that forward, around the mudguard is this sort of like tumbled, quite nice feeling white leather. Toe box is this quite supple leather again. It's a little bit plasticky, but it's actually not that bad. And then you have the ventilation holes where you have a smaller and then a bigger hole dotted around the edge of that. And I feel like this would be pretty comfortable, and it flex well and actually probably crease quite well as well. On the eyelets, it is bordered around with this sort of like what I'm going to call bunting, where it's this jagged effect. Almost looks like you've cut it with those scissors you get at school. They're all jagged. And then the actual eyelets material is this again. You can say what material this is at the bottom on the comments, but I feel like it's like almost like a nubuck in this light grey, and then you have metal through the actual surrounding the eyelets. Leather on these little tabs, so you've got 3 tabs on each side, and that's nice feeling leather as well, very supple. And the laces that come stock are, again, I feel like a sail sort of colour, and then they have this stitch line through in orange. And I really like the fact that all the colours that are incorporated in the shoe are actually on the tips. So you've got yellow, sail, red, reddy orange, and the brown. And it was the same as well with the mids, so they have a very consistent theme, which I think is really cool. The tongue, so the front of the tongue is this really soft, supple leather, and then right at the top, so it's like 2 sections, you've got that MCR print with well, what I'm calling their print with the squiggles. That's got more structure to it. And then you've got this orange Air Jordan wings, and then you have what they had on the mid, this stitch line over the tongue, which I think is a really cool effect. Going into the tongue, you've got United Youth International, and the actual back of the tongue and the sock liner is a really nice silky feeling material. It's really padded in here, and it's almost like a sort of like mahogany brown sort of coloration, and you've got these sort of dots and Jumpmans, sort of like, I don't know how you'd class that, but it's like a different coloration, so they stand out inside. Really nice, feels like it's going to be really, really comfortable. That top of the cuff around there is this tumbled leather again, and it actually has a really nice movement and feel to it. I feel like these are going to be very structured, but I don't know how comfortable they are because of the height and just like how firm they are. Again, I haven't yet tried these on, so I'm going to have to see what they feel like. Going down from that panel, you've got this, what I'm calling the MCR sort of squiggles. That's sort of like more of a durable, tough sort of leather, but I really like the fact that they've got this embossed pattern that goes throughout their collaborations, and then they've got this really defined stitch line, which is again another theme they use just on this panel connecting to the back heel. I really like that. That's on both sides of the shoe, on both shoes. And the MCR squiggles panel is sort of highlighted by this orange and yellow material. The orange looks painted on, the yellow looks dyed, leading up to this eyelet piece that is just basically material, and then in that sort of dark brown, mahogany sort of brown sort of colour, and then it's got painted on white stripes. So again, it's all these themes and colours that they've been incorporating throughout the shoe. And what else? Oh, and also what is really amazing about this is all of those sort of like designs that they've got on the paper inside the box. They use those sort of patterns and designs and images on the insoles, and when you have a really interesting insole, I always think it makes the shoe a lot better, even though you never see it. I just think it is such a nice touch because it's such a perfect space to put a really detailed thing on, a print on anyway. And what is really cool about this pair is that you get 3 additional spare laces. So you get all the colours that are going through this. So you've got stock, you've got your sail laces, and then you have the orange, yellow, and then this sort of like mahogany, deep sort of brown. And I think that it's really cool that you've got that variety of laces. A bit annoying because I'm going to have to do a lot of lace swaps, but I will be doing the lace swaps, of course, so you can see all the different laces in the shoe. I actually really like these on feet. I've seen these worn in quite a few images. I feel like a baggy fit over the top looks the best. But yeah, really cool shoe, but I just don't know whether I can justify the spend at the moment. But I'm glad to look at it in hand, and I do think it is one of those pairs that will appreciate in value if you was to keep it, because it's a fantastic collaboration with an absolutely brilliant brand. So yeah, I'll go to the on feet. I did lace swaps and a few different fits, but tell me what you think of this shoe. Did you pick it up? Are you thinking about picking it up? And what are your opinions on the Jordan 2s? Anyway, that's it for me. It's Woodsy out.